Hello everyone, welcome to Best T-shirt Designs. If you are new here, I am Tanvir. I make T-shirt design tutorials. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay updated with my latest T-shirt design tutorials. So this is an image as I showed in my previous video. This is generated with Flux AI, and I'm going to show you how we can complete this image or how we can make a complete design from AI generated graphics. So first of all, these are images and the Flux AI gives us 1000 by 1000 pixel images. So that's why we need to first of all upscale it. Upscaling means we need to make it bigger. So for that I am using this iLab IMG site. This is the one I showed in my previous video, and for this one, this is the image I am going to selecting. So as you can see, this is going to take some time, and for this site we can create 2x or 4x upscale for any image, but it will give you some limited options. So try different browser if you like, and there are many other websites you can upscale your images. You can use anyone that suits you. So as you can see, this is now 2x upscaled and it is looking like this. We can make it 4x for free. That means it will make this image 4000 by 4000 pixel, and in Photoshop we can do the same. Here we can just change the image size. This is now in 72 resolution. If I make it 300 resolution, that will make it bigger. So I'm going to show you the difference here. So this is how it is going to be if I upscale it or if I make it bigger in Photoshop, and this is what it is going to give us for the upscaled version. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see this in the recorded video, but there are some difference in the image. Anyway, just click on this upscale and it is going to give us a option to download. I'm going to download this one and I'm going to save it in the garden folder. These are all the garden images I made with different AI images. So we have our image, and here I am going to open that one, and this is the upscaled version of the image. And if I zoom in, you will see the difference here. Like this is a bit blurry, this is a bit pixely, but in this one that pixelation is not that much. That means it is a better version to use this one. Anyway, so you can make an image like this with any AI you prefer, and then I am going to make a complete design out of it. So first of all, I need to remove the background. I am selecting magic wand tool to click on this white color, and it is a very clean and simple background, so it is going to select everything. Now with this selected, I need to I want to include this part in my selection, so I can use my lasso tool, and if I press shift and draw it like this, that is going to be included in my selection. So it is looking like this. Now I need to go to select and inverse. So inverse is going to make the selection in the inverse side, and if I click on this icon, or you can click on this icon, the layer mask icon, that will make it transparent, that will hide all the areas that was selected. So there can be some kind of areas that is left and we need to select like that. You can select it with magic wand tool, or maybe you can click on that color and go to select and similar. So similar is going to select everything that is in similar color. So as you can see, it is selecting all the whites, some lighter blues, but that's okay. We will just remove these smaller parts. So click on this icon here, take your brush tool, make sure it is black, and then I'm making it a bit smaller, and I will just paint over these areas where I don't want it. So I want to keep it here, so I will not paint it here. And if I paint it, it is going to be like this. But if you do that by mistake, just make it white and then paint over this area again, and that is going to bring that lost area. So I'm going to make it black for now, and I have some issues like in this area. I'll just remove these parts, not this one. Anyway, so once I have this image with a transparent background, I can simply just create a new file, and in this one I'm going to make it 4500 into 5400 pixel size. The resolution will be 300. The color mode will be RGB. So this is the important part. It must be RGB color, and this is the Amazon standard size. For the background color, I can take anything I want, then create. Now I have this background removed version of this image. I'll bring it here and place it somewhere like this. Now the text I am going to use for this design is weekend forecast gardening with a chance of wine. So this is going to be the text. I'm going to, let's write it down here. This is the first line. Gardening is going to be the bigger text, as I am going to focus on that one. With a, I can make chance of wine. So with a chance I can make it like this. With a chance I can keep it in one line. Then of wine is not going to look good as a one single line. I can make it like this. I'm giving focus to this gardening text, so I can give focus to this wine text. But in the comparison, this is a longer text, a bigger text. It contains more letter than the letter wine. So if I make them to separate line, this wine will, I'll need to make it way bigger than all the other text. So I am just going to place my text like this, with a chance of wine. So with a chance of wine, I am going to keep it as one line, and this is going to be the text layout. So let's use with this one, weekend forecast, and I am using Photoshop here, not Illustrator. So everything will be image based. As this is the image, I can simply vector trace it, but that is not necessary because I only need a 300 dpi PNG to upload. So I don't need to trace it and make it vector and then make the design in Illustrator. I can simply use Photoshop. So I'm going to place the text here, weekend forecast. So for this design, I can keep this font. This is a fun looking font, a funny or comic style font. So I'm going to keep this font, and for weekend forecast, I am going to keep it here. Then I will press Alt and bring a copy to put my gardening text in this one. So for this one, this gardening is the focus point of my this text. So I'm going to make it bigger. I can make it like this, and then maybe just place it here. So from this alignment panel in Photoshop, I am going to just make it selected to canvas. Then everything I am going to select will be aligned to the center of the canvas. So not with anything else. Center with the canvas like this. Okay, so this is my gardening text. Now I can simply apply an effect on it, and to apply that effect, first of all is, okay, I am using the latest version of Photoshop, but if you are using an older version, you can press Ctrl T. So Ctrl T will activate this transform tool where we can select and transform this text, and once it is activated, we will find this option here. As you can see, this is the wrap option of, as we know from Illustrator. So if I click on this, it is going to apply this grid on this text, and with this icon here, this point here, we can simply just make it, if I click and drag, it is going to make an arc like this, and then press enter to apply that arc, and I'm going to place it something like this, maybe a bit upper here. So that is good. Now in this area here, I want to keep this gardening text in the back of this image. So simply I can just drag it underneath the image layer, and now as you can see, gardening text is below the, okay, like this, below the image layer. So this is how it is looking. Now that is fine. Now for this one here, for the next part of my text, I can simply make it look like this with a, okay, let's keep it smaller. I am going to place it something like this in this area, or maybe I can place it here because I want to keep these tools visible. That is an important part of this design, with a chance of wine. So if I put wine here, as you can see, so wine is a small text, a small word. It is going to look really big if I make it look like this. So it is going to look bigger than all the other text. So this is not a good idea. And for that, I am going to place that with a chance of wine together, and that will make it a smaller. That will make this line smaller, and I will be able to get more space for this. So something like this with a chance of wine. So now this is going to be the design. This is all we need to do. Maybe I can just bring it down little bit more, something like here, so that the image is clearly visible. Now I will put a black background to see how it is going to look. Text placement is ready. I will now apply some effect on this text, because let's say I will keep this wine text in this wine color, but for this gardening text I can change it to something greenish type color. So I can go from this character panel. You should go to window and then characters. Here that will activate this panel, or in the latest version of Photoshop you will find it here. So if I click here and it will give me this eyedropper, I can click on any color I want, and that is going to, it's going to pick that color. So that is going to be a bit darker. So let's make it this green. Okay, so let's make it darker green for now. So this is how it is looking. For this wine, I'm going to use this darker color of this wine glass, and then for this one I'm going to use this yellow color, because that is another important color or a prominent color of my this graphic here. Okay, so maybe for this one I am going to use this yellow. Now this is good, but for, let's say, for this text area or for this one, it is not really clearly visible. So to fix that, maybe I'll make it a bit smaller in size. So I will make this one a bit smaller too, something like this. That is good. Now bring it down. Okay, so here I am going to apply some effect on my text, but before that, this is overlapping. So I am going to select this text here, and if I control and click on this layer thumbnail here, it is going to make a selection of this text. So you should focus here. Now once this selection is made, I am going to go to select, modify, and then expand. So as we are working on a 4500 into 5400 artboard, so 40 pixel is good enough. You can change that if you want, but let's click OK. That is going to select an additional 40 pixel with this text. And for this selection, I need to click on this layer mask here, and here I am going, so here I just make the selection and click on this icon here, and inside this area if I take black color and paint, that is going to make those areas invisible. So as you can see, it is making the image invisible from that area. But for any reason, if I want to bring them back, I can simply take white in this brush tool, and then if I paint, it is going to bring back. But let's keep it black and transparent, invisible for now. So that is good. Now for this area here, the chance of wine, again I am going to press Ctrl and click on this icon. That is going to make this selection. Go to select, modify, and then expand, again 40 pixel, and this is going to give me this selection. Again go to this area. As you can see here, there is nothing in this area that is visible, but as soon as I will paint it, it is going to show up here. I don't know if you will be able to see this or not. Anyway, so if I draw it like this with black, it is going to make those areas invisible. Now here if I turn off this layer, as you can see, this is making those areas transparent. So here now I have this text here. If I turn this black background on, this is how it is looking. Now we are working with Photoshop, so we can apply some text effect on this text. So let's say for this text, I am going to make it first of all this darker shade of this color, and then I am going to control click on this layer. Then I am going to create a new layer on top of that layer. Right click on it and then create clipping mask. So that is going to create a clipping mask for this text only. And now if I take my brush tool again, and if I select this lighter color from here, make this blending mode to dissolve, and now just make it a bit smaller or bigger as you need. If I make it paint it like this, it is going to give me a effect. I don't know if you will be able to see it or not. So as you can see, this is how the effect is looking right now. So we are basically applying two different color tones on this design, or now I am applying the third tone, that is the white one. So this is how it is going to look. For this one here, this gardening text, again I am going to control click on it to select. I am going to take a new layer, right click, make clipping mask, and for this one I am going to take this lighter shade of this green color just to make it look like this. So as you can see, if I paint over this area, this is not going to affect anything. Only it will affect everything that is inside this selection here. So again I can simply select some whites from this area, maybe just give it a little bit of white tints like this, and if I want I can make it anything I like. I can make it black, but that will not be suitable for this design here. So this is how it is looking for this with a text. Again control click on it. Now taking this layer, right click, make clipping mask, create clipping mask. Okay, so first of all let's change the color to this one here. Now come to this layer, I'm going to take my brush tool, then I'm going to, so this is a bit bigger in size for this text, so I'm going to paint it like this, and now I'll take this white color to give it a bit of highlight like this. So this is just a effect. Now for this chance of wine, again I'm going to do the same thing, chance of wine, right click and then create clipping mask, and here I'm going to B for the brush tool, and for this text I'm going to take the lighter color of this. So maybe this is not being visible because of the, okay, so the color tone are very similar to each other. Let's just keep it like this, and here I am going to take this white color, that is going to make a change for this text. So anyway guys, this is how we can create a cool looking designs using all images. And if you think there are some issues with areas like this, you can simply just go there and select with your magic wand tool. Now take brush tool with this black highlighted and then erase it. Now there is one more issue with this kind of design. As you can see, there are some areas like this that is left with this kind of white highlights or something. So to fix that, we need to select this layer, go to filter, other, and then minimum. So from minimum, as you can see, this is now radius is 2.2 and it is already gone. So let me just bring it all the way down. So 0.2 is the original value. If I keep increasing it, it is going to be disappearing. So let's not make it all the way up, just use as much as you need. So I think this is good enough. Those areas are not really visible now. I'm not talking about this two area, I'm talking about the edges here. And once you are done, you can see there is no more white areas like those left. For these areas, if you really want, you can simply just go there. You can simply take your brush tool. Now for this time, make it normal. I'm going to just, you can just draw it like this, but that is not really important. Nobody is going to, you cannot see that much details on a printed t-shirt, so something like that. Anyway, so our design is ready. Now if I turn this black background on, we get this cool looking PNG graphic. This is a complete vector file, so everything we are doing here will be 300 dpi and ready to print. Now I'll just select everything in this layer, and then if I press Ctrl T, that is going to give me the transform tool. I'll make it a bit bigger to cover all the areas, something like this, and we are done. So first of all, I can save it as a PSD file, because if I want to do anything or modify anything, I will be able to do that later. And now I am going to export a PNG image for this one. So this is how it is going to look, garden wine, and that is good. So this is how you can create a design with AI graphics, and if you work like this, there is a great chance of being success, because most of the people will just upload whatever AI is creating with a small text mistake or some graphic mistakes. But if you work like this, this is going to be a perfect design. So in my next episode, I will show you how to upload this kind of designs and where you can upload them. So see you in the next video. Thank you very much.